Salvete omnes. This is dependent subjunctive clauses, focusing on purpose clauses, chapter 44, exercise B. The instructions for this exercise say to read the Latin sentence out loud and then translate into English. Feel free, of course, to parse at your leisure, parse if necessary. We are to focus on the following kinds of purpose clauses. They are the adverbial purpose clause, introduced by ut or ne, the comparative purpose clause, introduced by quo plus a comparative, and the adjectival purpose clause, introduced by the relative pronoun qui, quae, quod. We will not cover the substantive purpose clauses or indirect commands in this chapter. We'll save that for the next chapter, chapter 45. Let us begin. Number 1. Pugnemus fortiter ut adduce laudemur. Pugnemus fortiter ut adduce laudemur. We also need to keep in mind sequence of tenses. So primary sequence, if the main introductory verb, the verb introducing the dependent clause, is present tense, future perfect, present subjunctive, or imperative, then we are in primary sequence and the subjunctive verb in the dependent clause must be in the present subjunctive. If the main introductory verb is a past tense, imperfect tense, perfect tense, or pluperfect tense, then we are in secondary sequence and the dependent subjunctive verb must be in the imperfect subjunctive. So here we have pugnemus. Wow, that looks like a verb we know, pugno, pugnare, pugnavi, pugnatus, but it seems different, odd. Strange even, not pugnamus, the indicative, but pugnemus, the subjunctive. This is an independent subjunctive. Look at that, the subjunctive as a main verb. Pugnemus, that's the main verb. That's the verb that's introducing a dependent clause. Pugnemus fortiter, and then the dependent clause is ut adduce laudemur. So, present subjunctive, first off, it's a hortatory, because of course, a horticulturalist might grow lettuce in his garden. Pugnemus. So let us fight. Let's fight. Let's do it. You are urging or exhorting someone to do something with you. Let's fight. And because it's present subjunctive, hortatory, we are in primary sequence. Fortiter is an adverb from fortis forte, so not just brave or strong, but bravely. Bravely, fortiter. Let us bravely fight. Now, why would we ever do a thing like that? It's answered by an adverbial clause, because if we're asking why should we fight bravely? Well, the answer should be an adverb, because we asked an adverb. Why? So that, for the purpose of laudemur adduce, ut introduces the dependent clause. It should be present subjunctive because we're in primary sequence. It is laudemur. So not laudamur, that would be indicative, but the present subjunctive laudemur. So first person plural, present passive subjunctive of laudo, laudare, laudavi, laudatus, to praise. So that we may be praised by the leader. By whom? Ablative of personal agent, by the leader. Dux, ducus, masculine leader. Let us fight bravely, so that we may be praised by the leader. Let us fight bravely to be praised by the leader. Purpose clause, adverbial, ut. Number 2. Mercatores ad nostram urbem venerunt, ut pecuniam facerent. So the mercatores, the merchants, mercator, mercatores, masculine, merchants. Probably the nominative, could be the accusative. Ad nostram urbem, ad plus the accusative motion towards of noster, nostra, nostrum. Urbs, urbis, feminine, city. Ad plus the accusative motion towards, to our city, the city that belongs to us. Venerunt, venerunt. Third person plural. Venia, venire, veni, ventus. This is the perfect stem when, macron over this e, and also this e. But macron over this e tells us it's perfect stem. Venerunt, third person plural, perfect tense. So the merchants came to our city. Why did they do a thing like that? Why ever? So that, for the purpose of, adverbial purpose clause, so that they might facerent pecuniam, because we have a perfect tense introductory verb. The subjunctive verb in the dependent clause must be imperfect subjunctive, and it is. There's facere, the present active infinitive, plus the personal ending unt. So that they might make money. So that they might make money. To make money. The merchants came to our city to make money. Why'd they come to our city? So that they might make money. Optime! Check out sentence 3. Magna cum diligentia aquam in hortum portavit, ut flores crescerent. Nice thing. So magna cum diligentia. Magnus cum, plus the noun diligentia, I feminine, diligence or care. So this is an ablative of manner. We didn't need the preposition cum, but we got it anyway. So the word order must be adjective cum noun. So magna, make run over the second A. Cum diligentia, make run over the A. With great diligence, with great care. It's almost adverbial. With great care equals something like very carefully or quite carefully. With great care, aquam, the accusative direct object of aqua I feminine, water, in plus the accusative hortum, hortus e masculine garden, so we're going in plus the accusative into the garden, and then portavit, third person singular, he, she, or it, carried, so he carried, perfect tense, water into the garden with great care, quite carefully. He carried water into the garden with great care. Now, why did he do a thing like that? The adverbial purpose clause, ut, so that, for the purpose of the flowers might grow. So that the flowers might grow. Flores, flores, masculine, flowers, crescerent, from cresco, crescere, crevi, cretus, crescerent. We want the imperfect subjunctive here because we are in secondary sequence given the perfect tense main verb. So that the flowers, crescere, present active infinitive, plus the unt, might grow. Sentence 4. Multas orationes scripsit, quas alii dicerent. Multas orationes scripsit. So multas, from multus much plural, many. Orationes, from oratio, orationes feminine, a thing that you say or speak, like a speech. Multas orationes, accusative plural feminine, direct object of the verb scripsit, from scribo, scribere, scripsi, scriptus. So he, she, it wrote many speeches, lots of speeches. He wrote many speeches. Now, why would he do a thing like that? Quas alii dicerent. We don't have an adverbial kind of purpose clause here. We have the adjectival kind of purpose clause. The adjectival relative, quas, relative pronoun, agrees with an antecedent, must be plural and feminine. Orationes. Orationes is accusative. Quas also happens to be accusative because it is accusative inside its own little clause. Quas alii dicerent, with the subject being alii. Others do the verb to the direct object. He wrote many speeches which others might speak. Go ahead and make this sound more purposey. He wrote many speeches so that others might say them. So that others might say them. Why did he write many speeches? What was the purpose of the speeches? The purpose of the speeches was so that others might say them. So this is the adjectival form. It's giving more emphasis on the reason for the speeches. What's the purpose of the speeches? I mean, he wrote them, yes. What's the purpose of them? So that others might say them. What was the purpose of the guy in number 3 carrying the water into the garden? So that the flowers could grow. It's based upon the verb. The adverbial is more based upon the verb, the action. It's why he did this thing. Whereas the relative flavor of purpose clauses gives us more information, more focus about the antecedent, the purpose of this noun, the speeches, instead of the verb. Cool. Sentence 5. Celerrime cucurrit, ne a sua patre caparetur. Celerrime cucurrit. So celerrime, that is the superlative adverb of celer, celeris, celere. Not just swift, but very swiftly, very quickly. It's an adverb, so it modifies either a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Here it's modifying the verb cucurrit. Cucurrit from curro, currere, cucurri, cursus, which means to run. So it's the perfect tense. You can see that we're duplicated cucurrit, like deadit. Cucurrit, perfect tense, so secondary sequence. He ran very quickly. He ran so fast. I'm sorry, he ran very quickly. He ran very fast. Why did he do that? Nay, so that not. Lest, negative purpose clause here. It's adverbial. Lest a suo patre caparetur, because we're in secondary sequence, the subjunctive verb needs to be imperfect, capere, and then tur, third person singular, imperfect passive of capio, capere, capi, captus. Lest he be caught, captured, a suo patre, by his father. His father will be doing the capturing. It's passive voice. The agent is in the ablative of personal agent. A suo patre. Now, whose dad is it? Someone else's dad? No, it's his own. It's the person who's running away. We know that because of the reflexive. The reflexive possessive adjective, like meos, tuus, noster, wester. This, suosaum, it's an adjective, so it agrees with a noun, like patre, and you can tell by the ending. They have the both ablative, singular, masculine ending. The su part, that's the reflexive part. You should be able to circle the su part and draw an arrow from it to the subject. Subject is cucurret, also caparetur. So whose father is it? Whoever the subject is. That's how the reflexive is used. Whoever this, it refers back, reflects back to the subject. He ran very quickly lest he be captured by his father. Sentence kind of dark. Maybe he deserved it. 6. Paulo ante nautae missi erant, qui ad Britanniam cum illo mercatore navigarent. So Paulo ante. Paulo ante. We've got ante with paulum e neuter, the ablative Paulo. This is an ablative of degree of difference. It tells you the degree, how big or how little the difference is. Difference before. So this action happened ante, before. Happened beforehand. Happened a while back, beforehand. How much a while back? How far back ago did it happen? What degree? How far back did it go? Paulo, a little bit. We go back a lot. If it was a long time ago, we'd say molto ante, long time ago. Ago, ante, back ago, ante, molto, by much, long time ago. This is Paulo ante, a long time ago, back ago, beforehand, Paulo, by a little bit. Paulo ante, a little before, or a little while before. Before ante, Paulo, by a little bit, ablative of degree of difference. Nautae missi erant, nautae, remember that nautae, masculine sailor, so looks feminine, but it is masculine. Missi, agreeing with the nominative plural masculine nautae, erant. So missi erant is the third person plural masculine pluperfect passive indicative of mitto, mittere, missi, missus. So a little while before, the sailors had been sent. The sailors had been sent a little while before. Qui, who, the antecedent of qui being the nautae, the sailors. Qui has to agree with nautae in gender and number, not necessarily in case. However, they do agree in case. In this case, a hook, a hook, a hook. They're both nominative and they're both nominative and they're both plural and they're both masculine. They have to be both plural and masculine. It's a coincidence. They're both nominative here. So the sailors had been sent, who ad plus the accusative motion towards, Britanniam, that island, to Britain, cum with, plus the ablative illo mercatore, that merchant over there, yonder merchant, mercator is masculine, merchant, with that merchant, navigarent. Because the introductory verb was pluperfect, we're in secondary sequence. That gives us an imperfect subjunctive dependent verb, navigare, plus the unt, navigarent. So this is a relative purpose clause, an adjectival purpose clause. Explains the purpose of the antecedent. Why were the sailors sent to Britain? I'm sorry, why had the sailors been sent? So they could sail to Britain with the merchant. So a little while ago, the sailors had been sent to sail to Britain with the merchant. Who were to sail to Britain with that merchant? A little while ago, sailors had been sent who were to sail with that merchant to Britain. Number 7. Nuntius ad orbem missus est, qui cives de periculis monaret. So nuntius ad orbem missus est is our introductory. Nuntius ad orbem, we have nuntius, the subject, nuntius, nunti, masculine messenger, ad plus the accusative motion towards of orbs, orbis, feminine, city, and missus est from mitta, mittere, misi, missus, third person singular masculine, perfect passive. So we're in secondary sequence and we should have an imperfect subjunctive dependent verb. So a messenger was sent to the city. Why was he sent to the city? What was the purpose of this messenger? Relative purpose clause, an adjectival purpose clause. So singular and masculine to agree with its antecedent, and they both happen to be nominative. Who is to warn, who was to warn, so that he might warn the cives, the direct object, plural, masculine or feminine, of civis, masculine or feminine citizens, about, de, plus the ablative, about the periculum e neuter, ablative, plural, dangers. Dangers. A messenger was sent to the city who was to warn the citizens about the dangers, so that he might warn the citizens about the dangers. Number 8. Illa femmina veniet ad orbem non ut ludo spectet, sed ut ipsa spectator. So illa femmina veniet, so illa, not just this woman, not just the woman, but that woman over there. You can see her, she's over there, far yonder. Illa, from ille, illa, illud. Illa femmina. We really don't need the noun femina here, woman, because that information is found in the ending illa, but hey, we'll go with it. So that woman over there, yonder woman, yon woman over there, veniet, veniet. It's not the present tense venet. It's veniet, et, so it's future. That woman over there yonder will come to the city, ad orbem, to the city, motion towards. Non ut ludo spectet, sed ut ipsa spectator, not ut ludo spectet, not so that she may look at or watch the games, ludos, the games, because we have a future introductory verb, we are in primary sequence, we want present subjunctive of specto, that is spectet. Said, but, ut ipsa, so that ipsa, she herself, the intensive pronoun ipse, ipsa, ipsum, she herself, spectator, might be seen, might be watched. That woman over there will come to the city not so that she may watch the games, but so that she herself may be seen, may be watched. 9. Prima luce, princeps barbarus ad mediam silvam accessit, ne ab equitibus veniretur, inveniretur. So prima, ablative, it's ablative, macron over the a. Prima luce, at first light, at sunrise. So prima luce. Princeps, princeps means first or leading. Princeps, principes, can also mean prince, chief, chieftain. A barbarus princeps, a Barbarian chieftain, a foreign prince, foreign chief. Remember, barbaros doesn't necessarily carry the pejorative or negative connotation that it does for us. It means non-Roman, foreign, something else. So at first light, the barbarian chief, ad mediam silvam accessit, ad plus the accusative mediam silvam. Remember, this doesn't mean the middle woods, but it's the middle of the woods, the middle of the forest. To the middle of the forest, accessit. So it's ad cedo. Cedo by itself means to yield or give way, but when we put a prefix on it, it means to move, and the prefix tells us in which direction we are moving. So it's ad cedo. We're moving towards somewhere. You can also see the ad going with the medium silvam. Ad casset. He approaches towards the middle of the forest. That's perfect tense, so he approached. At dawn, the barbarian chieftain approached the middle of the forest. And why did he do that? Ne ab equitibus inveniretur, lest, nay, so that not, negative purpose clause, negative adverbial purpose clause, so that he not, ab equitibus inveniretur, the third person singular imperfect passive subjunctive of invenio, invenire, inveni, inventus, to find. And then we have a passive voice verb, and that usually, not always, but usually gets us an ablative of personal agent or ablative of means. So knights, guys on horseback, those are people. So it's personal agent, requires the preposition ab equitibus. And we have the B in ab because the next word, equitibus, starts with a vowel. We don't say equitibus, we say ab equitibus. We don't say elephant, we say an elephant. Eases pronunciation. So at daybreak, the barbarian chieftain approached the middle of the forest so that he might not be found by the cavalry, lest he be found by the knights, by the cavalry, by the guys on horseback, equitibus. All right, almost there. Number 10. Hortus tuus meum magnitudine superat. Laborabo altem, ut meum pulcriorem tuo faciam. Them's fighting words. All right, hortus tuus. Hortus e masculine. Garden. Tuus, your garden. Nominative singular masculine subject. Your garden. Meum. Meum. There's an implied meum hortum. We don't repeat hortum there, and we wouldn't in English either. Your garden is blank blank mine. We know that garden is repeated again. Your garden is blank blank than my garden. But we wouldn't even put garden again in Latin. We wouldn't put it in English. Meum, just mine. Magnitudine, magnitudine. The ablative singular feminine of magnitudo, magnitudinus. Feminine, great size, magnitude. You can see magnus in there. Large size. And superat. From supero, superare, superavi, superatus, to overcome, surpass, or defeat. Here's going to mean something like surpass, to be on top of, overpowered. So your garden surpasses mine. Meum hortum, my garden, mine. In what way? In beauty, in variety of florals? No. In size, in magnitudine. Magnitudine is an ablative of specification, ablative of respect. In respect to size, that is how your garden wins over mine. Your garden defeats mine, surpasses mine in size. Laborabo altem, there's that semicolon, then altem. Altem is a post-positive conjunction. It kind of can mean whatever you really need it to. It can mean and, it can mean but, one T. It can mean however, it can mean moreover, it can mean besides. Kind of just whatever you need it to be. The reason it's post-positive is so that it can have an emphatic word before it. So laborabo, that's the emphatic word here. Altem, but I will work, but I will labor. Laborabo, but I will toil. Ut, so that the declaration. So that your garden may be better than mine in size, but I will toil so that meum pulcriorem tuo faciam. So that meum pulcriorem tuo faciam. Faciam is our verb. We have laborabo. That's going to be our introductory verb, introducing the purpose clause. Ut meum pulcriorem tuo faciam. We're in primary sequence, so we want the present subjunctive. We got it in faciam, first person singular, or facio, facere, feci, factus. So that I may make meum. Once again, we're implying a hortum meum, mine, my garden. Pulcriorem, I'm making mine pulcriorem. Predicate accusative. I'm making mine more beautiful. Pulcriorem, comparative. Pulcriorem, more beautiful. Tuo. Ablative of comparison. Ablative of comparison. Because we are comparing one thing, my garden, with your garden, meus hortus with tuus hortus. We could say quam tuum, ut meum pulcriorem quam tuum faciam. That would work too. But if thing X, my garden, is either nominative or accusative, here it's accusative, then we can use the ablative of comparison. Just put thing Y, the thing you're comparing it with, in the ablative, and that's tuo. Your garden surpasses mine in size, but I will toil so that I may make mine more beautiful than yours. I will toil so that I may make mine more beautiful than yours. Optime, very well done. You are now ready to move on to exercise C of chapter 44. Valete omnes.